I tell you what, if Dana White isn't talking smack about a fighter, there's a fighter definitely talking smack right back. If he isn't slapping his wife, then he's probably smacking a stripper's bum. Dana White has had many incidents that have generated a good amount of buzz and backlash from the community. On New Year's Eve of 2023 at a nightclub section in Cabo San Lucas, something of the unthinkable happened. A video was posted to the internet showing what we can only tell to be Dana White and his wife of 28 years getting into a slapping match on the balcony of their section. Yes, right in front of everybody. The incident starts off with his wife pulling him in close to her body to whisper in his ear, and the next thing you know, boom, right in the kisser. White takes a brutal right-hand slap from his wife, and his corner is shouting out to keep his hands up and strike back. Not really, but he did slap her back twice, and almost choking her and slamming her to the ground. This instantly took over the net and was talked about by the whole world. He did a live interview with TMZ shortly after addressing the incident, admitting his wrongs and giving no excuses for this altercation, not even the alcohol. He simply explains how he has known his wife since they were 12 years old, and she is his best friend.
My wife and I have been married for almost 30 years. We've known each other since we were 12 years old. We've obviously been through some shit together.
They addressed the issue with their children and between themselves, and nothing else has come about it. He even made a television show called Power Slap, Road to the Title, about 2 weeks after.
One, two.
And old comments about Ray Lewis and his domestic abuse situation, and said you should never react to a woman hitting you. Then to basically laugh it off during a TMZ interview, dude has guts. Dana is widely known for the time he spends at the live games tables in Las Vegas, known for making insanely huge bets and a lot of the time winning, and sometimes losing. Even losing $1 million on a boxing match.
One thing Conor has to still get adept to is working on the inside. It's the hardest thing to learn.
Good defense, nice left hand.
Claiming to be a degenerate when it comes to gambling. Within the last year, many states have legalized sports betting, especially online. This brought a new code of conduct to the UFC when Dana White told the promotion that UFC fighters cannot be in fights inside the UFC. He even continued to say that not only fighters, but anybody involved inside of their fighting squad. He states in a post-fight press conference, "Yeah, well, gambling is opening up everywhere in the states, and the people who regulate gambling don't think it's a good idea for fighters to be betting on themselves." And I agree. Along with fighters not being able to bet on the UFC,
More pressure. She's looking for it. She gets it. It's all over. Once again, first round armbar finish for the champion.
Dana seems to be kicked out at a number of the top casinos in Las Vegas. He has been known to sit at the table for hours and just run up a bill for the casino and make them so mad that they make it very difficult to gamble at their venue. That is what happens when you take $7 million from a casino, Dana. He says, "It's not that I'm banned from casinos, it's just that they don't want me to play there. They won't give me the limits that I want and let me bet as much as I want because they don't like to lose. The Palms has kicked me out of there twice. The Mirage, the Wynn will not let me play. The only places that will let me play in town are Caesar's Palace, the Bellagio, and the Venetian. All of the guys take really big play at Caesar's Palace. Caesar's Palace is by far the best casino in the world. Besides having feuds with the casino, he has others we may care to mention. With the MMA reporter Ariel Helwani, who currently works for the UFC's carrier ESPN television channel. In 2016 was around the time UFC 200 was coming up, and the UFC had some news that they did not want their fans to know about. Can you guess who spilled the beans? You know it, Ariel, Dana's own promotional reporter. He came out and told everybody that the promotion re-signed former UFC heavyweight champion and WWE superstar Brock Lesnar to fight at the next UFC event.
He wants to finish in style.
Dana really wanted to keep it a secret longer than it was. So what did he do? He was banned by the UFC, which later reinstated him. No matter what Dana says, he cannot burn bridges, obviously. Not that Dana getting into an altercation with the woman is anything surprising, but he has had some bad blood with the first women's featherweight champion, Cris Cyborg. Things were feisty in 2014, a year after women were allowed to fight in the UFC, when Dana White accused her of using steroids and mentioned a dirty test in 2012 while she was with the promotion Strikeforce. By 2016, things cooled down and she was signed to the UFC after getting into a few 140-pound matchups. She remained one of the UFC's go-to fighters, but when UFC 232 came around, things changed. She lost her title with a loss to Amanda Nunes, and this is when things got bad. Surprisingly, she had one more fight inside the UFC, resulting in a win, but was released by the promotion afterwards. If you win, you go again is how we always played. Dana opened fire again, calling her a nightmare to work with because she tries to avoid fighters like Nunes and has claimed to be never happy in the UFC. Cyborg was picked up by Bellator and remains on the UFC's blacklist. Dana White was the manager for a man named Tito Ortiz, who was a former UFC light heavyweight champion.
Where he's improved so much. Now he's trying to land something.
Tight half Nelson. He's got the head ripped up pretty hard. This could be
There's a tap. There's a tap. It's over. Tito Ortiz used his fist.
These two did not see things the same way on many occasions, and beef between them has faded away and also caught back wind many times. Their relationship went south once Dana White became the president of the UFC, and a contract dispute caused Ortiz to leave the promotion for about a year. This created the two grown men to bash each other over the internet and through the mass media. When Ortiz resigned, they came upon an agreement that Ortiz and White would have to face off against each other, not in the octagon, but in the boxing ring, broadcasted live on Spike TV. As of today, that match has still not happened and still is brought up to present time occasionally. The excuse was the same for both sides. The other guy backed out. White undoubtedly claims he trained diligently before the fight until Ortiz backed out. Yeah, that's what they all say. Ortiz left the UFC again 2 years after backing out of the boxing match and returned again and left and to retire in 2012, just to sign to Bellator in 2013.
Takedown by Tito. Nice sweep by Chael. He has a great guillotine if he can get on top and use it. Don't want to waste a lot of energy early.
This especially angered Dana, calling him moron and buffoon after being called a slave driver by Ortiz. Somebody called the fire department. It's getting toasty. So we have found out that Dana White really does not care about what he is saying and doesn't think it harms his promotion in any way. I'd say that's fair. The man has a voice, and it will be heard as he remains the president of the most popular MMA organization.
He's able to stop this. He's got the left leg of Dern. Now, there it is. Mackenzie Dern, special on the ground as usual. She makes quick work of Brandon Marcos tonight.
And continuously improving year in and year out. Just like the promotion he is operating, over the years, his smack talk has grown in popularity. Do yourself all a favor tonight, and instead of slapping your wife, give her a kiss on the cheek. You'll thank me later.